Hey folks, we're going to do some artwork this morning for Eberron Adventure, Crystals of Mabar. You can see the book cover here on the screen. Give me a second here to check my signal and make sure that we're coming through, and then I'm going to do some fast social media posts and we'll get to work. So checking on my signal here real quick. Sounds like we're coming through loud and clear, so let me drop that volume down there to keep it out of the way. We're going to grab that there. We're going to bounce over here. And then I've got just a few more clicks to go and then we'll get started. For those who don't know, hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online. And I've been a DM since 1987, a freelance illustrator since 1999, an Eberron enthusiast since 2004. And yeah, making DM content on DMsGuild since 2018, but I haven't made anything for Eberron yet, and that's something that I'm rectifying with this adventure. It's for characters levels 7 and 8. We're fighting necromancers, demons, and undead in the Carnwood of Karnath on the continent of Corvair. If you think this stuff is cool, you can like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when we're live in the future. Here's a full playlist of all 538 episodes watching me build this thing from scratch. And here is a whole bunch of books that I've already created on the DMsGuild. You can check them all out. They all have free previews. So let's drop this down here a smidge. Let's get our Photoshop up. Made this book cover on episode 40. You can check in on that if you're interested in jumping into the Wayback Machine. But today we're working on the skyline for the City of Sharn. And this is for the Council of 12 plot hook, where our characters are hired by the Council of 12 to deal with the necromancer, or to basically replace the necromancers through a heist mission. But that's just one of 6 different plot points. Here's Rahid, our handler, working for the Council of 12, giving us assignments as a handler, and we're going to get rid of that out of the way right now. And we are diving into this space here that we've created, the city skyline. We're just going to continue working and developing this for the time being. So without any further ado, let's just dive back into it. I stream 5 times a week, Monday through Friday in the morning like this. We do artwork. And then we do actual game design for we create, illustrate, and then publish books for D&D, publish them on DMsGuild. So I'll come up with an idea, play test the hell out of it to see if it works or not. And if it does, we write up all the ideas behind it into a book format, smart it real good, get an editor, clean it up, and then once we get it back from the illustrator, we do the page layouts to put all the text where it's supposed to be on the page. And with what gaps are left in the text blocks, this is where we put our illustrations. So it's just another day on the job. Just getting stuff done. The skyline here isn't significant. Let's do that. Let me drop that back. So I do ideation and design work. I do that on Mondays and Thursday nights, like tonight. We'll be back, and then Tuesday and Friday lunches, like tomorrow, will also be back. So we'll be working on the Bastion campaign, which will probably end up being a bunch of architecture artwork once we get around to illustrating that that book as well. So keep an eye out for that. But we'll be doing game design for the Bastion system. We'll be doing that tonight around maybe 6:30. I'd like to start earlier, but I don't think I'm going to be able to begin before 6:30. I think I gotta go run an errand after my day job. So there's going to be a little. I'd like to get started at 5:30 today, but I don't see that happening. I think I'm going to have I have to go to the store to pick up supplies, and I won't have an opportunity to do that until after my day job, which concludes at 5 o'clock. So I'll catch the bus. I want to say I'll catch the bus at 5:10 and then get to the store. You know, the more I think about it, the less I believe I have to go to the store today. So yeah, I think I'm gonna be online here at 5:30. I think I can pull that off. Wrong layer. That feels good. Let's go to, yeah, now we'll do this on the right layer. Get rid of that. I'm going to duplicate this hab over here for transform. Flip horizontal. I am super proud because the mob section of the of the creature menagerie that we have at the back end of this book. Appendix A is a monster manual of all the monsters from the monster manual, as well as the new monsters that we created for this adventure are for you to reference. So when we have any monster in the game that we make reference to, it is in this document, so we can hypertext back to where it's located for you to find. And we also, it's a 7th and 8th level adventure, so they're pretty powerful. So there's some, but there's like skeletons and zombies and ghouls and ghasts, which are anywhere from like a CR 1/4 to a CR 2, which is insignificant to the abilities of 7th, 8th level characters. So we're implementing the mob mechanics from DMG 2024. But I don't like the mob mechanics from 2024, so I had to create new mechanics for mobs to utilize in this system, and it makes mobs a hazard. So instead of following the rules in the DMG 24 for mobs, in that you're rolling a single 20-sided die, and then comparing, kind of like THAC0, you're comparing on a scale, how many of the creatures do you hit? That's how it works in DMG 2024. But merge. But that has not been very satisfying. So what we created instead was mobs are now hazards. So when you encounter when a mob of monsters gets within melee reach of your character, the character now makes a dexterity or a strength saving throw to avoid the mob as though it were a hazard. And if they fail the saving throw, they take X damage. If they succeed the saving throw, they take half damage, just like any other hazard trap type thing would do. But to amp it up a little bit more, if you fail the saving throw against the mob attack, then you're grappled as well. And any round that they are within melee reach of you, on the mob's initiative count, that's when you make your saving throw. And if you if you fail the saving throw, because you are grappled. Hold on, that's actually a great question. Let me double check that real quick. D&D Beyond, and we're going to go with grappled. Grapple creature speed becomes 0. Can't benefit from any speed. Condition also ends if the effect removes a grapple creature, like Thunder Wave, etc. Grapple is incapacitated. There you go. Okay, great. So it makes your characters stick in their spot and they can't escape. Some mobs will restrain you, and the restraining condition is disadvantage on saving throws. So once they grab hold of you, if that mob can restrain you, then your attempt to avoid damage the next round. Thank you. The attempt to escape next round is going to be at disadvantage. Let's redo this. Here. Here. And here. That'll do. So using these mob mechanics, it doesn't. The team has to kill the individual creatures in the mob, but it still remains a hazard instead of attacking monsters. Like the +4 that a zombie gets to attack, for instance, is not likely going to be any kind of an actual threat to a 7th level fighter. But if 6 of them attack you, and the saving throw, you'll take say 15 points of bludgeoning damage if you fail the saving throw, or 8 if you succeed the saving throw, and then next turn 14 if you kill one of the zombies, 14 points of damage, or 7 if you succeed the save. Like, that's a slow burn. Whoever gets caught by that mob is going to get whittled pretty quickly. So it's a fun way to amp up the risk. Instead of just expediting how am I going to resolve this mob of 20 monsters, instead of worrying about how am I going to resolve the attack rolls of these monsters, instead you make that pack of 20 monsters an AoE hazard that the team has to save to avoid getting slaughtered by. And that's a very different conversation. The team is now like, what do we need to do to avoid these things? You got to play keep away, and you got to kill them quickly, and you need to make sure that you're succeeding in your saving throws, whether they're strength or dexterity. And the 5e24 toolkit provides a lot of new fun options. Well, a lot of options in general. Not so much new, like evasion comes in really handy for a rogue that could get caught by a mob. So a rogue could actually use himself as bait to make sure that like backline cat, like the wizard, doesn't get caught out, or the sorcerer doesn't get caught out, so they don't get screwed over, because they're not going to have the same hit point supply as anyone else on the team does. I mean, the rogue isn't great either, but the rogue with the evasion will take half damage if they fail and 0 damage if they succeed, which is great against mobs. So using the rogue to bait mobs is a pretty good solution. You don't get indomitable on a fighter until 9th level, so you don't get the benefits of ramping your saves like that. But second wind comes in handy for a fighter in that kind of situation. Plus, they can just kill a bunch of creatures real good. So if you've got and the damage that the mob does isn't how many creatures are in the mob. The damage is how many creatures are within reach of your character. So if you're medium size and there's 5 creatures in a mob, they can potentially surround you, and all 5 of them could attack you, doing like 12 points of damage per save, or 6 on success. That's not nearly as dangerous, but a medium-sized creature can be surrounded by most 8 creatures. So the damage scales from 3 to 8 creatures in a mob. So it's actually really simple. It's a very, very simple system. I just haven't seen it implemented anywhere else. And by making them saving throws instead of a stand-up fight, it's there we go. That looks better. Like, you remove the threat by killing monsters like usual, but again, they're not making separate attack rolls. If they can touch you, however many creatures can touch you is your saving. It sets your saving throw and the damage. And then if anyone else is within melee reach, and there's creatures that aren't, like if there's 20 creatures in a mob and they're already surrounded a medium-sized creature, and there's 12 creatures in the mob that are idle, then if anyone else is within sight, whatever creatures aren't already engaged will break off into a smaller mob and go attack the next nearest target that they can sense. So if you get a large pack, it's eventually going to break down into smaller units. But mobs tend to be the size of, like, I like that. That looks cool. Do that. Push that into the space there. Let's do one more down here. Oh, we can do one here. Delete. Race up to 100. Copy paste for transform. Flip horizontal. Good. Merge down. Pull this down here. Merge that, and then we'll do another layer here. That feels about right. So we're almost done with these initial lead lines. We're going to then build a whole new layer underneath this for some parallax overlapping. And once we get the second tier structure done, we'll start adding in windows and lights and stuff like that. Let's flip horizontal. So yeah, the good news about the mobs is that was the last component that I needed to figure out the formatting for to complete the book, and I figured out the formatting last night. So that means I should be able to get the actual listings of all the different. There's like 9 different monsters in the game in this adventure that can form as mobs, and like ghouls, ghasts, zombies, skeletons, assassin vines, sturges, shadow mastiffs, plague hounds. There's just a bunch. There's a bunch of different creatures that could be set up as mobs in this. So we provide stat blocks for all of them. And now that I got the format figured out last night, now I'm going to go through and build them all out. And once that is complete, we don't have any other text or format or page formatting to do for a while. Technically, at that point, all we have to do is worry about maps and illustrations, which means we eventually have to strain up the hyperlinks and stuff like that, so that when while you're jumping around, like when you look at a monster, you can click the name of the monster in the paragraph, and it'll jump you down to where that monster is located in the appendix. But that's hyperlinking. We'll get to that. That is something that needs to be done before we're like quote unquote technically done with the book. But I'm going to take the victory lap and take a break from working on that, and do illustrations at night for a while. So instead of me working on the actual layout and text of the book, I'll be able to instead work on whatever art piece we're working on. As it's been for quite a while, I haven't been able to actually work on art of the book in the evenings because there was so much actual like page prep that still needed to be done. But what I like to do is work on an illustration, and then for transform, horizontal. Thank you. And then once it's all arranged, then work on an illustration in the morning, and then keep working on it at night. So when you come back the next day, you can see that I've made progress, or even possibly finished a piece and then started another one, and then you catch up on stream with what piece am I working on right now. As it sits currently, I'm only able to do art in the morning, so you see every step of every piece that I've been doing. But once I get caught up, I can start seriously collapsing time frames. I am very, very looking forward to that. So this weekend we're going to get the mob formatting resolved, and then starting Monday plus, we'll be doing art at night. So I'm very, 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 very happy about that. That looks good. Let's 0 here. Copy paste for transform. Flip horizontal. There, merge down. Copy, paste, retransform, flip horizontal. Good. Merge down. Thin that up a tick. There we go. Copy, paste, free transform, flip horizontal. Good. Merge down. Merge down. Anything else? Anything else need attention? This all looks pretty good. Let's do this tower here real quick. Let's delete that. Here. Like that. Like that. Good. I think that looks pretty good. I want to mess around with this here. I noticed this earlier. This could be better. There we go. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. We got chocolate hazelnut coffee from Trader Joe's, and oh boy, it's tasty. It's pungent. The chocolatiness of the coffee is, when you drink it black, incredibly strong chocolatey vibe. It's really good coffee. So far, so good. So we do. We're just doing light highlights for for the city is going to have. When we start building the next layer, we're going to have a lighting layer here that radiates upward. That's causing the underlighting for these floating citadels. This is the city of Sharn, the city of towers, in the Eberron campaign setting. So it's pretty famous for its floating structures. It's built on a manifest zone that coterminates with Sylvanas, which is is it Sylvanas, the realm of endless air, or is it Arenal? I forget that. No, that's the name of where elves come from. Anyway, whatever plane, the plane of endless sky is the plane that, whatever its name is, that coterminates with the city of Sharn. So there's floating citadels because it's the endless sky. Things fly there, even things that shouldn't be able to fly there. If this manifest zone ever collapsed, these towers would fall and crush everything underneath it. The gatekeepers have gate seals, which are runic magic devices that they look like little mahjong tiles, but when you throw or otherwise hit the nexus of a manifest zone with the gate seal, it unfurls into a 10 by 10 2-ton block covered in runes that shut down the magic of the manifest zone, collapsing the environment. So if the gatekeepers ever decided that Sharn was out of line and they needed to punish it, they could gate seal the location, just completely decimate the city. So the gatekeepers have a semi-terrorist status in a lot of different countries because of the chaos that they could cause to economies and settlements that are reliant on the magic of the manifest zone. Destroying the manifest zone effectively destroys the economy and culture of that within that location. I gotta say, man, ever since Ravnica, looking at druid organizations as eco-terrorists just makes more and more sense, man. There, that feels pretty good. We're gonna leave that like that. We're gonna come over here. We're gonna fix this one up. Beep, beep, and then we'll work on the next layer. We're only going to do 2 layers of the city. The background doesn't need more than that, so we're just going to be minimalist in that sense of just sticking to what we know that we need. We got about a dozen more illustrations to finish after this one, and then I think we're going to have all the art we need for the book. I think actually integrating the art into the book and doing a lot of the post-production work of like asset gathering and making like a zip file of the products with all the different assets in them and properly labeling everything. It's going to take a little bit of time as well, and I'm concerned that all the art in the book is going to be finished before that process is finished. So at some point we're going to stop doing artwork for this Eberron book, and because it's going to be so close to publishing that there's nothing left for me to really stream online for production. It's just asset management at that point, which is not interesting to watch even in the least bit. So that's less interesting than editing. So we're getting close to I mean, we still have a dozen illustrations. We'll be here for like another month or two. But this time is coming very, very close to an end. And when it does, we're going to do the Bastion campaign book is going to be the next book that we publish. So once we've come to the end of doing artwork for this adventure here in the morning, we're going to switch gears and we're going to start working on the book cover for the Bastion campaign. And hopefully by the time we get the book cover done, we'll have the Eberron adventure truly resolved and out of the way. So we can dive deep. Yeah, that feels pretty good. We also have a book of Spelljammer subclasses that utilize the mechanics that we produce in the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration supplement that I published on the DMsGuild. That is linked down below in the description as well. And if you are a spacefaring or Spelljammer enthusiast for RPGs, it is definitely worth your time looking into. The scaling combat system for a larger scaling grid works incredibly well for ship and fleet combat. I'm rather proud of having created that. I've seen a few other supplements that explore the idea of expanding the scale of grid, but I haven't seen anything do a massive deep dive into integrating 5e combat mechanics into making it work with these larger scales. So it sets the precedence for us to then be able to build out the Mecha Kaiju book, which we're going to do playtesting for here on my Discord server by playing Storm King's Thunder, but formatting it so that it's Spelljammer instead of Faerun. And we'll have an opportunity to playtest some of the subclasses that I built. And of course, the Mecha Kaiju mechanics I developed, the Mecha mechanics for War Golems for characters to run around in big War Golem suits of 30 feet, 10 to 50 feet in scale typically, and then the Kaiju that the DM can control can be up to a mile in size, but that's probably going to be beyond the scope of what we're going to do with the War Golems. So I'll probably limit the scale of creatures to 200 feet maybe. We'll see. The boss, if we move on the campaign long enough and get to an endpoint, then we'll probably have a significant, like a 500-foot end boss or something, perhaps. Still figuring it out. We'll suss out how it works, but it looks like it should be a lot of fun. That looks pretty good. Yeah, round that out. Good. And this last one. And then we'll get to the next tier. It is Thursday morning. I love Thursdays. I am so looking forward to doing more game design tonight. I am in love with the bashing campaign system. I think it's going to be some of my best work, honestly. I keep saying that, like the color mana system for MTG into D&D, that was my first set of ideas, and that was just divine grace there. And then the Spelljammer book happened, and that completely changed literally my sense of scale in combat for D&D, so that was amazing. And now this bashing campaign is just completely reintroducing Dominion style gameplay back into the 5e game engine, and I am very, very proud of it. And I love how the army and sabotage mechanics are coming along. I'm tired of seeing mass combat systems introduced supposedly for use with 5e, but you stop playing. You don't play 5e when you're using these different systems. So I'm really happy to be able to provide like actual 5e mechanics for mass combat. This 5e is such a great game engine. I don't know what's prevented anyone from being able to actually make a mass combat engine for 5e, but apparently that's what I'm supposed to do too. I don't take these burdens lightly. It's my responsibility. There. That seems to be doing pretty good. Yeah, I can call that good. So we're going to call that good. That is good. That is there. This is our background here. More back. I'm going to click on this and go back line. And now we're going to make Next one, let's grab our references here from Sharn. More Sharn. This is an actual city that doesn't count. I like the sky on this one, that's why I grabbed that. Here we go. Maybe. No, that. Yeah, let's do that. That'll do. I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna blend this in here. This is highly experimental, so bear with me. We're gonna see if we can make this work. I've got an idea on how to use the Photoshop tools to pull this off, but give me a second here to test it. There, nice smooth band. I'm going to duplicate this layer. Conceal. Now I'm going to go to a filter. I'm going to use a blur tool. And I'm going to use a motion blur. $90 degrees. Let's try that. Let's take this and pull this down. Then we're going to go horizontally to blend it all in together. Just like you'd blend, just like Bob would blend in clouds, we're blending in this radiance. Stretch that on out. This will end well. Very good. There, cool. Let's grab this. Let's grab this crazy haziness. Push it up a little bit. Yeah, that feels good. But it should be a separate layer until we can consolidate them properly. Like that. Pushes the whole thing back. There we go. This is a 16 by 9 format. Looks pretty good. I like that haze. That feels pretty good. We'll go mid haze. Now we're going to do here we want to emphasize, here we want to less. Let's add Rahid and the frame back in. So here's our window frame here, which means this skyline here, a lot of that's going to get covered by his super cool chair. I'll raise that up a smidge. Sink him back into that chair a little bit better. Yeah, that should sit pretty. So now we're going to start touching up, make that rough line into buildings. So I'm gonna go down to let's go down to 12 is the window size. So we're gonna go down to 8 for our pixels. Here and then across here like that. taking the rough line and we're starting to make it less rough with more spiny, structure-y sort of looking stuff. It needs to be for like we're slowly here building buildings. We're making buildings here, folks. Like I can't have these structures too tall because they get lost in the haze. So I want to make sure we keep that in mind. Let's drop the opacity on this down. And put in another layer that's a little more clean. There. We can copy paste, retransform. Flip horizontal. There, we can erase here. Merge down. What time is it? 7:27? Okay, I got about 20 minutes left. I'm gonna take another sip of coffee here. Right now we're just doing a silhouette, and once we block in the silhouette, we'll be able to diversify its architecture like we did on this further back line. We'll do that, the same treatment. Paste, retransform, flip horizontal. There we go. Merge down. Copy, paste, retransform, flip horizontal. down. Not bad. Let's just hyperextend this a little bit here and here. There. Take this and fade it down. Let's see where our... Yeah, we're doing great. This is a good line to be on. Smooth that all down. There. And there. I'm thinking it's plausible to have this done by Wednesday. We'll get the monster section done by this weekend. I'm certain of that, and then. That means on Monday moving forward, while I'm not doing evening design streams, I'll be able to actually do like actual artwork instead of book stuff. God, that's gonna feel so good. Until we have to strain up the book, all the hyperlinks and stuff like that, and there's some niggly bits that need to be resolved, but. Actually focus on artwork for a little while, and that's gonna feel really good. See how that works out? That haze works really, really well. Just gonna smudge all this in just to make it. There won't be a third layer. We don't need it because of the composition of the illustration. This is all we'll need. But I'm also thinking like having like something like jut up like this, like a larger tower here, just to break the frame. Something like that. Copy, paste, free transform, flip horizontal. Merge down. Something like that, probably. Completely pointless. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this isn't relevant at all. I'm gonna leave it there for reference sake, but acknowledging that it isn't relevant. So let's just keep moving forward. We're gonna move into a square brush. Actually, scratch that. Well, all right, we're gonna make more interesting architecture. TM. Square. All right, we gotta start making the architecture a little more interesting now. Copy, paste, retransform. Flip horizontal. Merge down. Paste, retransform, flip horizontal. That feels good. Merge down. These silhouettes look. I love stacking things like this. The overlapping, the complexity of, I mean, it's not super complex, right? But the complexity of the architecture overlapping with each other just makes these neat little shapes and stuff. I love that. I love that. It's so fun. And we have to keep in mind that this is the size of a window, or rather, that's 10 feet. So that represents 10 feet. So like that's a floor, and that's a floor, that's a floor, and that's a floor. Probably like that and that. Let's see. Let's do that. Let's do like that. Copy, paste, retransform, flip horizontal. Push this in. Here. Good. Merge. Let's merge down instead of merge all. Let's see. It's only 30 feet. You can't have a tower, considering that this is representing 10 feet. This also represents 10 feet. It's like 10, 20, 30, 40. So like this is like a 50-foot wide tower. And that's like a reasonable, like you don't want to build vertically when you aren't maximizing your horizontal space. That's just ease on your materials, right? So if you're going to have a tower, you're probably going to want to have it to be at least 50 feet in diameter. Just to make it, worth the effort of climbing. It's reasonable to have a 50-foot room in a tower. Like that's a decent size for a tower. That's what I'm trying to say. Anything smaller than 50 feet in size would not warrant the infrastructure and architectural effort of making a spire. Paste for transform, flip horizontal. Good. Merge down. just a little bit of variety there, you know? Just keep things interesting. Doesn't have to go overboard. There. I think I'm almost out of time. I'll probably work on this some over the weekend. Gonna work. I need more stuff. You know, it's the density is too low. Like, I want to leave this point of interest open because it's interesting. This is where it's boring, so this is where we need to make stuff interesting. So let's block that in. I like this vaguely Asian motif that we've got going on with this architecture. I think it looks really cool. Yep, that's my alarm. Thank you, Timely Timer. Where are we at? 7:47? Hey, how about that? Keep it in the air. We got a few more minutes. There. See how much I'm leaning into the piece? That means I'm focusing my attention too much. I need to zoom out. Yep, that's my alarm. There we go. We got a few more minutes. Copy, paste, view transform, flip horizontal. Merge down. There, like that. Good. Another shape in here like that. I want to preserve this space because I like that shape. So I'm making these little Little lumpy bits. Yeah, that feels good. And I'll come through and make something of this. All right, that's where I need to break for the time being. You just won't let me go. She's like, no, you want to work on that just a little bit more. I'm like, really? Why? She's like, just do it. Well, okay, fine. I'll just do it. Perfect. Yep. Okay, but that's where we're gonna leave it for now. So we'll continue working on the silhouette, and once it has a similar level of architectural density as we have on the back line, then we'll add in the individual floor levels here. You can see like separating of different sections of the building. And then, yeah, I feel like you should have something here. No, I like that height. Possibly something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's going to be interesting enough. It's boy, it's coming along. I'm liking it. I'm so far so good. So that's where we're gonna go ahead and put the brakes on for now. I'm gonna be back tonight. I should be back around 5:30 this evening. That's that's 9.5 hours from now. We'll be back on. We're working on this evening. We're working on my hair's crazy. We're going to be working on continuing to redefine and structure the orders for facilities in the Bastion campaign system that's diving deeper into the idea of Bastions presented in the DMG24. So, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, notifications. Check out my books down below to see the other type of artwork and design ideas I publish. And thanks a lot for folks swinging by and saying hi. I really appreciate everyone. So I'll see you all in the future, and you have a great day. Cheers. See you tonight.